What up, guys? CP the Athletic. Woo! Come on, Henry. Come on, Henry. We gotta give it. Come on, get up here. Come on, little buddy. Come on, come on, come on, come on, little fella. Well, you little stinker. Come here. Come on. He's not gonna do it. Anyways, guys, I know Henry's just down here and he's not wanting to say hi today. Are you gonna say hi? Are you gonna? He's been worn out, and it's been a long, busy week. So I appreciate you guys. If this is your first time here, there's been a lot of new subscribers. I think we had almost 100 this week, which is pretty awesome. But a lot of new subscribers, a lot of good comments, a lot of good questions. Today's video, I'm going to dump a few tools on you. It's going to be an Olight, Topdon, and a surprise impact video. Now, I will be going into depth of these further, but I wanted to make some content this week for you guys. And I needed to kind of get this out there because this is my style of how I do it. Okay, and some people might not like how I do my style, but this is my style. So, anyways, without ado, let's get into our first tool. That is the Topdon. This is the Topdon ArtiDiag800bt Bluetooth. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, I have been toying with this, and we're gonna look through a demo mode on this because I haven't had anything significant. Nothing that's I would think is gonna showcase this. So this is gonna take some time with this tool and just trying it. This is my new go-to tool. As you guys know, I had a launch Diagnostic X431, but we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to show you a couple other things. This is actually really cool. So I mean, it's just not a normal headlight. So stick around. Let's flip the camera around, get in there, talk about it, and yeah. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to give this one look right now from the start, and we're going to talk about startup, which I'm going to hammer out on it. Hi, Topdon. I actually think that Topdon is a really, really up-and-coming company. And I will say, a lot of these scan tools are pretty much about the same platform. Let me give you a measurement on the screen real quick here, because I know some of you want to know. This is approximately 7 inches wide, maybe 6 3/4, but it actually measures 8 from corner to corner. And then the whole unit itself is about 4.5-ish wide, and it's about 9 inches long. So very compact unit. Now, what this unit is good for is this is not a shop tool. This is a tool for any type of individual technician. It has the dongle that pops out of here. That's what I like about this. Ooh, squirted right out. And this will light up here when it gets power. Very nice, very, very sleek setup. Slips right in here into its own little case. And it only goes in one way. And then not like that. Like that, CP. But as you can see, it started up relatively quick. Now, we're going to go into scan mode. And we're going to scroll down here and go down to the demo mode. And this is, once again, the demo mode is pretty deceiving, I will say. We're going to try to go over this really fast. It goes pretty quick, which is not exactly what I would say. We're going to hit a health report. You'll notice here, and the nice thing is when you accidentally hit the power button all the time, it's up here and you're grabbing it, that will happen. But as you can see here, the health report is going and it's scanning fairly quickly, which is not exactly representation of how fast it is. And you can see here your different modules. You have body control, brake, transmission. You guys were asking about brake control. We're going to get back into that now. I'm not going to go into this real crazy right now, but we're just going to show you a quick demonstration, or a quick, I'm going to look at the data stream. So there's your code faults, and it does do a code search via Google, kind of generic. That's pretty standard for a lot of stuff now. But nonetheless, it's nice if you're hooked up to Wi-Fi and you got that going for you. It takes a little bit for it to jump in there. And we're not going to wait, because that's not the thing I want to show you. I want to talk about the data stream here, and we're just going to click on the engine data, select all, And we're just going to go into this because we're just going to talk about a few of these things. Now, as you can see here, we have the graphing portion. Come on, little feller. It has a really nice graphing layout. If you can see that, now I'm giving you the best camera quality I can, but if you can see, this is actually a really crisp data for your graphing for it. So I honestly think this is probably one of the better ones. It's definitely a lot better than my launch. My launch was a little more pixelated, whatnot, so you can definitely do some of that. Now, I know there's some of the questions. You guys are going to have a bunch of questions about, we're going to back out of here, show you a couple other quick things real fast. Yes, I know. Do not forget my dongle. We're going to go right in here to maintenance and service. Now, this does give you maintenance and service. So we have the bleed, ABS bleed. I know a ton of people asked about that because that's a huge deal. I know a lot of guys like to use that. Personally, I have to watch using that here in the Rust Belt because I don't want to replace brake lines on a customer's car when I use brake bleed. So, you know, you have to do that. Then you have your coolant DPF. DPF is what some other guys asked me in the last one, injection. Immobilizer, which is a big one for me, which I'm looking forward to testing this. Obviously, this needs to be going through a lot of cars for me to be able to come up with the proper data for you guys to see. But so far, I can say that I'm pretty impressed with the amount of information that this thing has on it. Now, we have repair info. RD folder, we got that. That's a repair info, and the RD folder, which has that. And this has a coverage list, your OBD2 fault code. So let's say you want to check a code on here. So let's do a PO151, which would be a O2 sensor, and we'll hit OK, and that will give you a little bit of the information on that code. Kind of tell you the cause of failures, blah, blah, blah. And I only use that one because that's like the most common one the parts store guys always, oh, you need a new O2 sensor. We have a video library, which I haven't updated all of this yet because I haven't used all this. There's a lot to go over. Yes, that has to be updated too. So that's a quick look at the ArtiDiag800bt. Any questions in the comments, I need you guys to ask them, and then I can definitely address that on the next video. So with that being said, let's move on to our next thing. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to show you guys what's in the kit. A very, very nice heavy-duty USB-C cable. This is a nice bag that it comes in. We also have our Topdon manual, password letter. Yeah, which won't matter because I've already started it. But, yeah, very nice kit here that this comes in. Very, very set up. Now, if for you guys that are in European and want to make sure you have plugs, there obviously it comes with your two different styles. Very cool little plug-in too, by the way, guys. I just want to show you. This thing transfers over, and then you can change out your plugs. I thought that was kind of neat, pretty ingenious. Once again, I think Topdon is kind of a major player in the game for diagnostics, so let's get this other stuff out of the way. All right, so Olight sent me over a couple of units here, and at first I really didn't find them to be too interesting right off the bat. But then as I did my research on them and looked at them a little bit, these are pretty nice units. Now, I would say this is on the higher end scale of lights, and Olight is a pretty common name. But we have the Goober Olight we're going to talk about real quick because this one is a lot neater than I thought. This actually will come in really handy for old Henry. And let me get this thing off here. They weren't messing around when they put this sucker together. So this is a little personal light for hiking, camping, or whatnot, which is pretty neat. It has some flashing lights on it, and it's rechargeable. But I thought there were some other settings here. I can't. There we go. It turns green. It turns blue. It turns white. And it turns red. Yeah. Pretty neat. So you can kind of set it up on one side or the other, however you want. Let's say if you wanted to do a little blue and red. and you're out hiking or whatnot. Pretty neat little deal. But it's not just that. It's also a nice little holder for an AirTag. So that way, if you want to have your kid out and he's out hiking, or you want to put this on your dog, like I have an AirTag on Henry now. I can put this on him, and at night he can run around, and I can find him a lot quicker. This is really neat for your pet. I actually thought this was a cool idea. I think these are right around 20 bucks, and well worth the money. Also, these you can attach to some sort of other side. They really have some neat features with this little guy for location. In the box, it has a clip right here that you can clip on to put your to actually attach this to one side or the other. More than just a little light there. It's a pretty cool feature. Comes with a charger too, because they are USB chargeable. The world's tiniest screwdriver. This is a really nice safety kit for anybody. I really thought this was really neat. You guys wouldn't be, if you guys don't do any hiking or camping or whatnot, and you have pets like I do, I'm telling you what, right now, this is actually pretty neat. I didn't think it was that neat when I first got it. I was like, what the hell do I need this thing for? But it's actually pretty cool. Now, next thing we have is the, oh, and by the way, that's a 28-hour runtime on the Goober. That's, yeah, 28-hour runtime on that. There is no minimum. It just says 28 hours. So, with this Olight, this is the Array 2S. This is a 500, 700, and 1,000 lumens, I believe is what this one's rated at. No, 200, 500, and 1,000 right here, as it says. This is actually a pretty neat light, and they're on, all the stuff's on sale. I believe I looked down the Olight site, and there was like $59.99. I think there's a sale going on. Now, I'm going to try not to blind you guys. The cool thing about this, did you guys see that? Yeah. So this actually has a wave function on it. But it's not just any wave function. You can lower it, or you can raise it. On the actual, let me see if you can see it. So you see how it lowered the light? Now it raised it. With your hand gesture, either on and off, it'll turn on your spotlight. Now if you want to raise your lumen, or you want to lower it, you just bring your hand down. Pretty interesting light. And it also has just a one button on and off. And your red spotlight. Both, like I said, your lumen, you can just hold it and it'll raise all the way up. There's your 200, 500, and 1,000. It's quick. And your one button off. This is a USB-C chargeable, and it has a USB-C chargeable port in it. It's got a 2800 milliamp 3.6 volt light, obviously a 5 volt input, but this is actually a pretty rugged light. This is an aluminum housing on this, and I have not ran this a ton yet. I know there was some concern about them getting too hot, but honestly, for what I've been using it for, it's been absolutely great. And I'm actually impressed. So you guys know I have the other headlight with the wave function. This one does not. I will say the one problem I have with the other one is that if my hand gets like out here, it shuts it off. This one, you have to be right up on top of it for it to function. So it's kind of nice. So I'm going to be using this one and see how I like it for a while. And, you know, we'll kind of revisit it. Once again, it's a new deal, so we got to check it out. But very, very, very well built. The sweat strap, and we'll see. I'm not like I said, I've never been a huge fan of these headlamps, but they're getting so well built now. I mean, this is a nice aluminum body on this here. Very, 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 very well built, in my opinion. Olight is doing some nice stuff. So I will put a link for the description for all this. I believe there might be a discount code I can put in there too. I'll have to see, but yeah, awesome, awesome light. Our last but not least tool is a impact that I picked up because I was interested in something different. Everybody's always doing Milwaukee. And you know, the biggest problem with tools nowadays is the number one complaint is price. And I cannot stress this. That is the number one complaint on my site. My page all the time is price. So I picked up this thing right here. This is called an Avhrit, and it is 21 volt, but it is a rubber, yeah, this has a rubber coating on it, battery, your LED charging, and I gotta tell you, other than having the charge port in there with the impact itself, it's definitely not a cheap impact. It is cheap. I mean, it's 160 bucks, but this almost looks like a Milwaukee knockoff, to be honest with you. Now, if you guys know, these are, some people don't understand these, but this is kind of a Asian design. This is a pin and ring design. It's kind of a Japanese a dim standard for Japan, or for the Asian stuff. What it does is these sockets are meant to have a pin in them, which you got to get the pinhole lined up. Okay, and then you put the pin through, and then the O-ring goes over to hold the pin in. Just a safety thing. But this does have a hog ring on it, so honestly, I think most Americans will never use that pin deal. But in Japan and Asia, they actually use that as a safety standard. So, but we're gonna do some videos on this and see, torture test it, you know, drop it, beat it all the heck. This is a 450. They claim it's a 450 foot-pound, but this kit comes with 2 rubber-coated batteries. The 21 volt is pretty much a moot point. It has an auto stop feature in reverse. Right there's an auto stop, and what auto stop does is you just hold the trigger and it auto stops. And then in forward, you have your high, medium, low for your power setting. Excuse me, in reverse, it has your high, medium, low. So it doesn't seem like it's a bad impact, to be honest with you. I'm kind of interested to see how much abuse this can take. So be prepared for some videos that are going to just be pretty downright dirty, like stuff that I wouldn't normally do to tools. I mean, if these cheaper tools need to be coming into the Chinese, or these cheaper Chinese tools need to come into the American market, then I guess they need to hold up to what my normal tools, they need to exceed what my normal Milwaukee DeWalt stuff would need to exceed. But for $167 for this kit, I honestly can't say that I'm a little bit impressed right off the bat. You can see the housing on this. There's not a lot of imperfections on this, and you have just very similar material up here as any Milwaukee out there. This coating on the handle is absolutely no different than most of your Milwaukee stuff. In fact, this feels very Milwaukee-like. I mean, even down to the button. Obviously, there's a lot of knockoffs. China is known for rebranding and knocking off. I've complained about it on my channel, but number one complaint I got on my channel is price. Now, this kit does come with a bit attachment even, which these things have been around since Christ was a cowboy. You know, I mean, these things are not new by any means. It comes with some cheaper sockets, which I wouldn't recommend using at all. But then it comes with some of your bits to add into the deal. We're just going to test it out and see what it does. I don't know if I'm going to use, I don't know if I'm brave enough to use the sockets. Like I said, I've been smoked in the face by a broken socket before. And I don't feel like going back to the hospital for that again. So I will put a link for this in the description if you are so inclined to try this out. But I will be doing some videos with this to see what this thing has for testing. We'll probably add it in some stuff just to zip it on there or whatnot. But 4 amp hour, 2 4 amp hour batteries for 160 bucks, 450 foot-pounds. I'd say this is a decent mid-torqued impact. I think it only weighs 2 pounds or something without the battery, and then you add the battery on, so you're looking at maybe 3.5 pounds total. So it's definitely a light unit, not nothing heavy duty. This isn't a diesel truck busting unit, but you know, it is what it is. So anyways, guys, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell. Remember, keep your hands dirty and your money clean. Thanks for watching.